Good evening and welcome to ELOSOFUMARTAKES. This is our 31st take. I am your host, Barry Duplessis, as always. Joining in the house live from the Casa Cueva studios of Euless, Texas. We are so excited to have our guest of honor here on with us tonight. It's really fantastic. What I really love about this show that I've been able to do is I've been able to bring a lot of the cigar industry's finest personalities in for a quick take. And it's been absolutely fantastic getting different points of view on different subject matters, not just always wrapper, binder, filler, and everything. And today is an even completely more different take and an in-depth look about how fantastic and truly marvelous this industry is. And the reason I am dressed so cool is because I have artist Kim Jackson of KJackArt with me tonight. Kim, how are you doing?
Oh, great. Thanks for having me. This is fun.
Fantastic. For those people who don't know, Kim actually and I are co-workers. And Kim, I thought about doing a beret tonight, but I figured, you know what, I would really like for you to talk to me again at some point. So I decided to go with the sunglasses instead.
Good call, man.
Actually, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of them. But I just wanted to be a little obnoxious for at least a portion of the show, at least the intro and everything. So again, for those people who don't know, Kim actually and I have the great privilege of working with Kim at Michael's, and we work for that very fine establishment in the cigar industry, and it's kind of both of our side gigs for what we well, I need to pay a mortgage, but you get to do what you really enjoy as your primary deal and everything. So, but before we get to the nuts and bolts of KJackArt and what cigar band art is all about and everything, why don't you tell us a little bit about Kim Jackson herself? Kim, like, how did you get into cigars, or what's one of your most pinnacle cigar moments in your cigar journey?
Yeah, so I went to Hardin-Simmons University in Abilene, Texas, and there was nothing to do. And I guess but drink. But no, I went with the theater kids to the local cigar shop, The Leaf, and discovered cigars, and I enjoyed the social aspect of them. I think the first cigar I had, though, was not at the cigar shop. It was a Swisher Sweet that one of the theater kids had. That was probably the first one, and then I moved up to Sancho Panza's.
Oh man, hey, I still like Sancho Panza every once in a while.
I haven't had one in forever.
It's a classic brand, though, man. But yeah, I think everyone has a starter cigar, and everyone's got a Swisher. I actually started with the Fonseca, believe it or not. That was my very first cigar, but I smoked plenty of those other shall remain nameless cigars during my early.
I had a pretty hardcore Xeno Platinum phase.
Are you serious?
I thought that was pretty awesome, man.
That's intense, man. Xeno Platinum, that's no joke. Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, that's okay. So that was kind of the beginning, and so it's very obvious where you got the idea for your chosen medium, or at least the material, for your art and everything. So you talked about being in theater. How did this all transpire? How did it go from one day like, hey, I like cigars with my friends, I'm hanging out in cigar shops, I'm on stage, now I'm making art. How did that all come to pass?
Right. Well, I think I was playing around with a lot of different art forms at the time. Actually, while I was hanging out at Michael's Tobacco of Euless, I'd bring my sketch pad and just do random things. And I was saving up cigar bands for about 1.5 years with one of my best friends, Chris Noteboom, who I know has been.
He's been a guest on ELOSOFUMARTAKES. Yeah. Take 7.
And his birthday came up, and I had all these cigar bands I'd promised to do something with. And I was a little broke. I didn't know what to get him. So I thought, well, this is my opportunity. Let me make something with the cigar bands, thinking I would probably Mod Podge like a trash can or a lamp or something silly like that. And I thought, well, I'm a big portrait artist. I like portraiture, anything with eyes. Yeah. So I thought I'd see what a picture of Shakespeare would look like, since that was what he was in school for. And so I made a picture of Shakespeare and gave it to him, and he put it on Facebook, and then I started getting orders. I didn't anticipate selling this stuff or making another one.
Just like that. But Shakespeare was number one.
Yeah.
That was the
first one.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So how long? So I imagine that first one took a lot longer than you've probably done now, but you've done different sizes. Like it's not like a one size fits all. It's not like, hey, you just don't, you roll with an 8x10. I mean, there's some pretty custom pieces. In fact, for those people who will read the show notes, check out Kim's website, KJackArt.com. You can check the gallery out. But the one I'm referring to is the Alfred Hitchcock that you did. It's the size of like, I'm not talking metaphorically. It is literally the size of a parking space.
Right. Well, it's 3 by 5 feet in real life. Yeah.
Okay, so a little bit smaller. Maybe it just seemed like
frame. It's like 4 by 5.5.
Okay, maybe it just seemed like the size of a parking space.
It seemed enormous to me too.
But yeah. I mean, these are all these are commissioned custom pieces in some cases.
Most of them,
that you've put together and everything. So okay, so you did the portrait for Chris as a birthday present. So orders start coming in and everything. Like, okay, so let's talk about a little bit about the process too. All right, so you don't just like collect cigar bands and just start gluing them on a piece of paper and then magic happens, right?
I wish, yeah. There's a lot of planning involved. I from start to finish, I take a picture, the picture I want to make, and I'll print it off on a little, just, regular printer paper.
You got some behind you, actually, because you got some of the, so we've got.
Yeah, so that's the process of doing the blueprint drawing of that, is what I call that. So I break down the photo in like 4 different colors, because cigar bands all kind of, not all of them, but mostly come in black, red, gold, or white. So I break the image down into those 4 colors. I draw it out to make sure everything's, accurate proportionally. And then I do a line drawing of that on whatever I'm going to collage on, and then I fill that in with cigar bands. So it's a
line
long
drawing.
process.
Can you dumb that down for me? Line drawing. What's that like?
Yeah,
like
without filling it in with color.
Okay.
I just outline what my drawing. So, and then the coloring it part is adding the bands. So. Yeah.
So again, for people who haven't checked it out, there's some really great pieces that she's done. There's a couple back there. Those were the blueprints she talked about. Groucho Marx, Winston Churchill, a Buddha. You've done a Texas flag, an American flag, the Vitruvian Man, Leonardo da Vinci. I mean, that's about as classic art as you can get.
Yeah.
All done with cigar bands. Now, I've asked you this before, so I'm going to cheat here. I know this answer.
Yeah.
But what was your most? I'm not going to ask you for your favorite. What was your most challenging piece that you've done so far and completed? Not that you're working on. I'm not looking for a scoop unless you want to give it to me.
Yeah, that would probably actually be the Vitruvian Man piece. I was so excited about all these orders coming in, like people wanting my art. It was really surprising to me that I met up with a guy at a cigar shop, and he said, I finally figured out the image I want to commission, and I want it big. And he showed me the Vitruvian Man, and out of my excitement, I was like, yeah, that's cool. Let's do it. Signed up, he paid half down. And then I got home and I thought, oh no, this is a line drawing. That's not.
We're not. You can say, oh shit, Kim, because we're not. The FCC is not going to get onto us or anything like that.
PG-13.
Yeah. I mean,
I didn't even realize I edited.
I'm not hiding what I'm drinking, and you're enjoying a beer. So.
Yeah. So I just kind of panicked and didn't know how to approach that piece. And so I just thought, well, just start working on it and see what happens. And so that was really hard to turn that, to kind of flesh it out. And because I'm not a big editor as an artist, like I draw what I see. I don't like, some people want me to put a cigar in someone's mouth, and I'm like, if it's not there, that's not where my talent lies. So with this, I had to edit a little bit,
Yeah, it's not like, oh, I'm gonna, have a picture of like the Dalai Lama with a cigar in his mouth. It's
right.
Yeah,
I can maybe, but yeah, it's not it's not a go-to talent for me.
So far you've done very iconic, classic portraits and images that we've all seen. There's a Nolan Ryan piece, an Emmett Smith piece, of course, the flags that we talked about already. When did you decide that you wanted to stay or even if maybe you're not necessarily fully decided, but you know, when did you want to decide, or when did it come about that, like, hey, I should probably stay in the portrait realm, and that's the way I'm going to go with this? And
as far as the iconic pieces, I mean, most of my stuff is commissioned, and all those images are requested. So a lot of the stuff I've made, I would have never thought to, you know, like a Buddha. I would have never thought, let me do a Buddha from Japan and cigar bands, you know. Yeah, I mean, just sticking with portraiture, I just am more interested with anything with eyes, you know. I mean, I know people have mentioned landscapes and cars and stuff, and that's fine, but I don't know, for some reason, anything that might have emotion is more interesting to me.
I think that's particularly more challenging. I mean, don't get me wrong, the flag pieces and the idea of doing a car or a landscape sounds fantastic and amazing. Especially with the way that you do things, you could really make those images pop. But I think what you do specifically with portraits, rather, with people, is really, really fantastic, because I think it really to me it's unbelievable that you're able to capture and humanize these human images with, you know, something that, you know, by and large, you know, now I save them all the time for you, but I mean, by and large is something that we you know, we throw away once we're done smoking cigars. So it's just one of those things that I find absolutely brilliant, and the best part about your work personally is the people.
Thank you. I think it's just, you know, something that you're interested in, you know, you're able to put your passion towards it, and it just keeps me interested, you know.
So when did you decide, like, how many pieces into it were you like, okay, I love it, I'm rolling with this?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm there yet. I'm just surprised this keeps going, and, you know, people are still interested in it. You know, as Chris Nobin likes to say, I know how the sausage is made. You know, I know how every little detail is added, and so I don't always see what everybody's seeing. So, you know, I don't know. Every day I'm just like, all right, let's just keep going at it. But
well, to us, we see the finished product. We see the brilliant job that you've done, and you see, oh, that, God, there's that band in the left-hand corner that I, you know, cut a little too much here, and I wish I hadn't put a blue band there. That would have been better if it was something else. You know, stupid.
Yeah, I see mostly the flaws.
We are our worst critic, as the cliche goes. But the other thing I was going to mention, for people who don't realize too, you were featured as a cover artist on Cigar Press magazine, which is a huge publication in our industry, the premium cigar industry. So, I mean, what was that experience like, and you know, how did it come to pass, and has it opened up any other doors for you?
Yeah, it was really awkward, actually. It's I reached out to them just to see if they were interested in something like this, and they came at me with a lot of excitement that they couldn't wait. They wanted to put it on the cover and do a 6-page spread, and I just thought they might put, like, you know, me on half a page or something. But and then the interview process, I don't know about most artists, but I think we're all kind of similar, where we don't like a lot of attention on ourselves. So I don't know how I spent so much time in theater, but I think, you know, like, attention on me being me is very uncomfortable, and I had to think about things I hadn't thought about before, you know, why I had started doing this, and they were asking just a lot of questions about me that made me really uncomfortable. I was so glad when it was over, and
which makes this remote interview a lot better, because it's just like I told you, it's like having a conversation with me, and everybody else reaps the benefit of getting to hear about your awesome work. Thor and the entire Nielsen family are very art appreciative, so I can see why they were so enthusiastic about it, because I mean, I'm enthused every time I see that you're working on a new piece. We did it right before the show started. I was like, hey, that's the Muhammad Ali back there behind you. That's something you don't have yet. Like, are you working on it? Yeah. I mean, I'm already excited about the potential that's out there, you know, for new pieces and things that you can do. Just and so I can totally see where Thor and the Cigar Press Punch were really we're really excited about, because they're really big art supporters. They're big art enthusiasts. And that's kind of their background. That's why they have the art, they have art filled covers and things like that. They're just really big into supporting that kind of medium. And that, everyone could do a photo. I think is their mentality. But I think that's overdone in the magazine industry. And so when you can put some unique pieces like yours and other artwork out there, specifically when they're cigar centralized, I mean, that's pretty darn unique and pretty awesome. So which portrait was featured on the Cigar Press magazine?
So that was the Andy Warhol piece.
Oh, it's right there behind you too, as well.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. Which unfortunately people ask if it's me sometimes. And yeah, I don't know. The blondish hair, the awkward look. But yeah, Andy Warhol. I think Thor is a big fan. He said something about, well, we got to do Andy. Just makes sense.
Yeah, he took a look.
I mean, it's pop art, what I'm doing. So
yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, no, absolutely, the correlation there and everything.
Yeah.
So okay, so for those people who are interested, and by the way, I just noticed something. By the way, you're drinking on a beer, and I'm drinking some bourbon and everything, but I'm wearing one of my new favorite shirts.
Yeah.
The animal that I am, beer, and so.
And so am I.
So are you.
By total accident.
Was not planned.
No.
We're just like funny things like
we're
that.
Vibing each other.
And we like beer.
And
yeah.
Amen.
And since we don't get to drink on the job, we like to enjoy it, a couple libations after work and with our cigars and everything.
Yeah.
Like that. So actually, let's break this up real quick, just on the subject of that. Kim, what's your favorite beverage to pair with a cigar?
Beer. I mean, now that we're talking about it, it really is.
Okay.
Love beer.
So what type of beer do you like to drink? Is there every day? Is there a different, are you just a beer snob? Do you go after everything that's out there? I mean, what's
I'm kind of all over the board with it. I have to break up with beer. I feel like it kind of it doesn't make me feel great. It goes to my sinuses. So when I do let
Thank you for not going cliche there, and better like it goes to my hips or something stupid like that. It goes to my sinuses. Never heard that before.
My sinuses go nuts if I have beer. So I'll go through a season where me and beer are pals, and then we break up, and I don't see it for a while. But I mean, I like most things. I'm not a snob at all. I could drink a Miller Lite. I could drink microbrew IPAs. A Guinness here and there. I mean, it's all over the map. Just depends on the day.
I've said this repeatedly. The Miller Lite's the only beer I won't drink.
Right, Keystone is the one I won't.
I will seriously go to a restaurant. I'll be like, hey, bring me anything. Just anything you pick. Just as long as it's not a Miller Lite, I'm cool with it. And there's some waiters and waitresses that have a really good time with that, and they're like, oh, cool. And then there's others that get really scared and nervous. They're like, well, what do you like? No, that's not how this works. I asked for you to surprise me. Bring me something that's not Miller Lite, and I don't care what it is, and I'll drink it, and I'll enjoy it, and I'll be happy, and you're welcome. So, but just to get back on the subject, for our I guess kind of final couple of questions here for you, Kim. Again, Kim Jackson of KJackArt Cigar Band Portraits. Check out our website, KJackArt.com. She has a beautiful gallery of some fantastic images that you can still order in portraits. And she's got the ability to order portraits through her website as well. But you can also commission your pieces, commission your own piece. So if you see her art and like, man, this image would be really cool, or this portrait would be really cool, or I would really like to see this done with cigar bands, you can actually commission a piece from Kim. So Kim, how does that process work? From start to finish, someone has an idea.
Right. I mean, most people contact me by means of email, which you can get through my website. Usually I give them. They tell me the image they want. I just make sure that it's it's an image that has good lighting and all that stuff, and I can see the image. Because again, I'm not good at editing, so I can't edit a light in it or make something brighter. It doesn't make sense to my eye, I guess. But so they give me an image, and once that's okay, I basically
any
give them
image, or like what do you have any restrictions? Or
I mean, if it's, if they want multiple people, that's going to be like several portraits in one, or a lot of people want like I've done personal portraits for people, which I don't put on my website. I've done a portrait of a 7-year-old little girl. I have a commission of someone's dachshund coming up soon. So with stuff like that, that's personal, I have to make sure that they're not like all in shadow, and, I can see the image. So that's all that goes with that. I just have to make sure that the image itself is what I need to work with. So once we agree on that, I give them size and price options. Mm-hmm. So, a lot of art kind of depends what wall space they have available, and we'll make it fit to that. And then we agree on the size and price, and we go from there.
So if someone wanted a portrait the size of a parking space, like I thought that I felt like the Hitchcock one was, it felt like it for goodness sake. So if someone wanted something that size, they could commission something that large from you. It obviously, pricing, time being probably the biggest issue. Speaking of time, on average, Kim, like how often? Like I want to set some realistic expectation. Again, like I was playing stupid earlier when I was like, hey, you just glue bands on a piece of paper and magic happens. But I mean for people who really don't understand this is very time
consuming,
and draining stuff here. Plus the fact that you just have to have an insane amount of patience and talent to even think about doing what you're doing. So what realistically, like on average, what's the turnaround? Someone commissions a piece, average size.
If they
not too much complex, but what are we looking at?
If they commissioned it today, and I were to get started, it would take about a month and a half. If it were my medium size, which is about 24 by 36, the size of a poster, it takes me about a month and a half. Because as you mentioned, we work together, so I have a part-time gig that kind of takes a little bit of time away, but keeps me sane. Not doing art 24/7.
Work-life balance is always fun, even for people who do what they love for a living. It's you still have to kind of break up the monotony.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, even when you have as much fun as Kim does with her job, you still have to come hang out with yahoos like me and Joe and Tracy and Silas and all of us.
Yeah.
Okay. So, people can contact you on your website, KJackArt.com. They can commission their own piece. They can purchase portraits. We've already talked about that. Is there anything? Can you give us a scoop? I kind of already snuck and saw the Muhammad Ali that you're working on behind you. Is there anything that you can tell us that you're working on that we might be excited about? It's okay if you don't want to comment. It's fine. Don't feel any pressure. Just
I mean, all of it you could be excited about. I'm doing another.
Well, I usually am, but still,
all of it. They're like my babies. I love them all in different ways. I've got another Churchill coming out right now. It's got a quote. It says "Never give in" the background. That's so that's kind of different. I haven't done something like that with words. That's inspiring. And I do have that dachshund piece coming out, so that's really exciting for me, being a dachshund lover.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're the dachshund fan you are. Kim has some gorgeous puppies that she is a mother to, and she does a fantastic job raising dogs, being an artist, and being one of the best damn employees that I get to work with at Michael's Tobacco. So it's an absolute privilege to get to work with her. It was a huge privilege to have you on the show, Kim. I thank you so much for your time. Guys, listen, check this stuff out, KJackArt.com. I mean, you will not be sorry. I believe it or not, am not made of money. So I have not been able to commission a piece yet. It is something that I do plan on doing in the future. Hopefully sooner than later, because I don't want Kim to lose interest or to become too famous to where the prices become too inflated. But either way, it'll be worth it. However much I have to pay to finally get one of her custom made pieces. But I was able to secure a portrait of Sitting Bull. And that was the kind of the hardest thing for me to pick out of her current gallery. Was like, they're so good, they're so great. I couldn't think of anything, and I was like, "Hey, do you have anything new that you're working on?" And she was like, "Hey, I just finished up this commission piece of Sitting Bull. I'll be posting it later this week, guys. If you haven't seen it, it's on my Instagram. It's fantastic. The detail's incredible. If you haven't seen it, if you guys haven't seen her website in the previews we've been leading up to today's show, you really need to check it out. We haven't done it justice today. Just simply talking about it, it's so much more than cigar bands on a portrait. It's fantastic, and it will really, I promise you, it'll really impress you. And Kim's blushing way too much for me, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Kim, again, thank you so much for joining us. For everyone out there, I really appreciate you guys for tuning in and catching the replay, catching everything. We always appreciate your likes, shares, and everything as well. Be sure to check her website out, KJackArt.com. Be sure to subscribe to ELOSOFUMAR on YouTube, like our Facebook page as well, and tell all your friends about all the amazing shows. So I'm off next week, guys, but I will be on Cigar Coop Primetime Special Edition. I will have our 1-year anniversary show tomorrow night with Ernesto Perez Carrillo. On Tuesday is the Indy 500 with Kim and I's friend Phil Schmitz and Will Cooper as well. That'll be fantastic. If you are an IndyCar fan, you definitely want to tune in for that on Tuesday night. And like I said, I'm off next week. But I'll be back with the force first week of June. Our 32nd take will feature John Carney of La Flor Dominicana. It's always good to have John on any type of show because he's a hoot, a holler, and a good time, and it'll be fantastic. Really, really looking forward to that as well. Kim, again, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Bear. This was fun.
I really, really appreciate it. And for everyone out there, thank you again so much. This was our 31st take live from the Casa Cueva studios of Euless, Texas. I'm your host, as always, Bear Duplessis, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.